A very good Tuesday afternoon to everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us for the SGBC virtual info session on the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 4th edition. My name is James. I'm from the Singapore Green Building Council, and it is my pleasure to take you through today's program. Now, as a platinum partner of the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 4th edition, SGBC is pleased to put together today's virtual info session for our network to learn more about this sustainability-centric challenge call. As Asia's premier global platform to advance innovation and collaboration in sustainability within the built environment, SGBC's founding member CapitaLand aims to leverage the reach of the CSXC to source for emerging solutions or technologies globally to solve sustainability challenges impacting urban development. Now, CSXC provides an opportunity for innovators to showcase and profile solutions to help make the urban environment more climate resilient and resource efficient. Through the challenge, up to 10 outstanding innovators will stand a chance to pilot, test, and implement innovations within CapitaLand's buildings located across more than 260 cities in over 40 countries, with over $1 million to cover the cost of piloting all the chosen innovations. Innovators will also gain access to local and global markets with expert mentoring on strategy and approach. Lastly, innovators can also look forward to implementing forward-looking solutions for asset types, including retail, offices, lodging, business parks, industrial, logistics, self-storage, data centers, and development and construction sites across the globe. Now, in just a while, we will hear from CapitaLand on the details for the CSXC 4th edition. We will learn more about the 7 challenge areas, objectives, as well as mechanics. And if you have questions, you can send them to the Q&A tool, and we will address them during the Q&A segment. Now, without further ado, let's get started. It is my pleasure now to invite Mr. Vinamara Sritava, the Chief Sustainability and Sustainable Investments Officer of CapitaLand Investment, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. Vinamara, please.
Thank you, SGBC and James, for the kind introduction, and a huge welcome to all of you online here. It is my pleasure to kick off this session. And I was wondering what should I say when my team asked me to do this opening, because you're going to hear from the team in detail, not only about the last edition, but also what to expect from the coming edition. So for me, this was a good time to reflect. This is the 4th edition of CSXC, and CSXC has come a long way. It remains a very integral tool in our sustainability journey. We look at innovation not only as a critical lever for innovation and decarbonization in particular, but across all of the sustainability objectives as well. But we do this in a structured way. So within CapitaLand, there are various engines of innovation, and there are different pools of capital that we put to use for innovation. And broadly, we are looking to deploy our capital in 2 major buckets. The first bucket is to take solutions that are tried and tested, that are probably coming from larger service and solution providers in the market, and focus on scaling them up to make large impact. And then the second bucket, where we are going ahead and trying to groom startups which have some fantastic ideas, but those startups are looking at trusted platforms to get recognition and then start scaling up from there. And both these pools of capital have different objectives based on the different profiles. And we think both are critical in our innovation journey. And it was with this intent that CSXC had started. And I must say, we are also very pleasantly surprised by the scale that this platform has gathered over the last many years. And not only has it expanded in terms of number of countries, a number of applicants, etc., which I think my team will share more with you later on, but it has also evolved in its thinking. We've gotten various new partners on board. We expanded our challenge statements over the years. Today, we are partnering with the tenants who are our sandbox partners, where we're deploying technology not only in our landlord premises, but also at our tenants' premises. We have gotten fantastic support from government agencies who are supportive of our innovation push, and likewise, we want to make sure we do our best to further strengthen the innovation culture originating out of Singapore. We've gone into new statements. We got safety included. We got this year construction decarb included. We're looking at supply chain expansion. So the bottom line is that we want to continue to experiment with the most impactful way to run this platform. And I do want to emphasize is that this is not a platform where we are looking to get technologies, do a nice demo day, give prize money, and that's it, look forward to the next year. I mean, for me, the demo day is really the starting point. The journey is really about execution and implementation. So it is very important for us, the 30 plus startups that we've been working over the last 3 years, we work very hard to define a pilot protocol, define measures of success. We invest a lot of bandwidth and resources within CapitaLand, not just our team, but it's actually a lot of investment of effort from our asset teams globally to make sure that we are creating the enablers for these pilots to be successful. And once they are successful, then the focus is on making sure that they can stand on their own 2 feet commercially, and then we give them the entire portfolio of CapitaLand to scale up. But I must also say that we've learned a lot of things the hard way. Like in the venture capital scene, not everything will hit the jackpot. Even the 10 that we shortlist, sometimes from over hundreds of solutions, many of them may face challenges on supply chain, on business models, on regulations, etc. So the problem is not that they're facing challenges. I think we should be expecting that. The focus is how do we work hand in hand with these innovators who bring in fantastic aspirations and ideas, but may need some real world guidance from us and support from us. So it really is both parties have to contribute to the system, things that they don't inherently have, and then make this a success. And in this whole endeavor, we will have some that may not unfortunately work for whatever reasons. But even in case the solution does not effectively work, there's a lot of rich learning because it's an iterative process. As a founder, you go back and then iterate either on the product or on the delivery to further make it more attractive to the market. So the whole focus of CSXC needs to remain on the ability to commercialize. And CapitaLand and its portfolio, we see ourselves as an enabler to make this commercialization happen. And in doing so, we create value for the startups and we create value for ourselves. So therefore, we spend the money on pilots as against giving prize money, because that is real world proof of value and that helps everybody scale up. So I'm really looking forward to this edition. Every edition has been a very exciting journey, and I really love interacting with the founders and then seeing how they're executing after the demo day is an experience that I think some of my colleagues will also share as we go along. But I do want to thank all our partners who have been in this journey with us, who trusted us, and we owe it to them to make sure we continue to create impact on our ecosystem and we continue to stay grounded, stay humble, and just aspire high to make this work for all of us. So huge thank you and gratitude for the tremendous effort that all our partners put into this. Please keep giving us feedback. We want to continue to learn with every edition and do this better. So we are very open to feedback. And I look forward to a very exciting journey in this edition. So thank you very much once again, and all the very best. I look forward to engaging you as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vinamara, for your encouraging words. Now, before we go into the nitty-gritty for CSXC 4th edition, let's take a trip down memory lane to recap the 3rd edition of the challenge that took place in 2023. Let's sit back and enjoy the video.
This represents the first of many partnerships that DEIH will build with the industry to support industry-led innovation efforts in areas of global relevance, such as sustainability. I would like to thank CapitaLand for taking the lead to invest in these efforts to push our research and innovation boundaries.
Innovation is a key driver in our decarbonization journey. As a global real estate leader in sustainability, we are providing innovators from around the globe with the opportunity to test bed their technologies at our diverse portfolio of properties worldwide through platforms such as the CSXC and our $50 million CapitaLand Innovation Fund. For the first time, we are partnering our tenants to test bed innovations from the CSXC at their premises. This is part of our ongoing efforts to help improve the sustainability performance of our tenants and reduce our Scope 3 emissions.
Special thanks to the CLI Sustainability Group and to all those that helped to sort the over 600 applications. They whittled them down. Those that helped to mentor and guide the finalists here. Congratulations to all of you. It's really difficult to choose between all 10 of you, but we struggled and we prevailed.
But now we're going to give out the Special Recognition Awards. VACT for their technology AI-powered video analytics.
We will speed up the deployment to do the pilot with the CapitaLand on different use cases.
The Healthway family of brands for their disinfecting filtration system.
Thank you all very much to the whole team that put this on, to the judges and their thoughtful deliberation, and of course CapitaLand for the continued drive to create this wonderful opportunity for everybody.
Ralos Enterprise Corporation for the CSR.
We learn a lot from this, and we hope that from here that we give a chance to the pilot, and then the benefit is not only for all of us, but for the environment and for the better building futures.
Megorium for the technology Megorium.
I would love to thank CapitaLand for this opportunity to pilot what we really hope can close that circular waste loop story, BCA, and definitely for the people who really supported us even before we paved our first road in Singapore.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that the video presentation gave you a flavor of what to expect for the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 4th edition. Now, to shed more light on the challenge areas, objectives, and mechanics, allow me to now invite Mr. Ted Howland, Vice President, Group Sustainability, CapitaLand Investment. Ted will now elaborate more on the details of the CSXC 4th edition. You can put your questions for Ted into the Q&A box, and we will address them during the Q&A segment of the program. In the meantime, I'll pass the time over to you, Ted. You can take it over when ready.
All right, ready on this side. Thank you very much for the great intro, James. And hopefully the video has got people very excited about our CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 4th edition. I'll be taking you through some of the key information that you need to know to apply. And starting off with our objectives. Our tagline is reimagining sustainability through urban rejuvenation. We are a real estate investment management company, and along with our CLD CapitaLand Development sister company that focuses on development, the two of us focus very heavily on the built environment. The CSXC is going to be Asia's premier global platform to advance innovation and collaboration in sustainability within the urban environment. Through CSXC, we aim to source for emerging solutions to solve sustainability challenges for urban development. Next slide, please. Alrighty, CSXC at a glance. We have run 3 editions of the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge so far. This 4th edition, we've opened the applications on 28th of October. We'll get a bit more into that later. But for the first 3 editions, we've received over 1,300 entries from 79 countries. Of these 1,300 entries that my team has gone through individually, we've checked each and every one of them. We have selected 30 innovations that have either been piloted, are piloting, or are planning out their pilot at 46 sites within our assets in 7 countries. And again, we hope to scale up the successful innovations among our over 260 cities and 40 countries of operation. Our challenge statements cover low carbon transition, water conservation resilience, waste management and circular economy, and health, safety, and wellness in buildings over the previous years. We've added a few new interesting ones for this year that we'll get to in a minute. In 2023, we had 4 special recognition awards, which came with additional funding. The High Impact Award, Most Innovative Award, Most Scalable Award, and Enterprise Singapore's Emerging Startup Award. As Vince said earlier, in 2023, we rolled out both tenant challenge statements and a sandbox partnership with our tenants to trial technologies within the tenanted spaces rented within our assets, which will help us address our Scope 3 challenges. Next slide, please, Jocelyn. Thank you. So for the 4th edition, we have 7 challenge statements split into 2 focus areas under Build and Enable. For those curious about the Build and Enable tag, that ties quite strongly back to our sustainability and master plan, which can be downloaded from our website. Under Build, we have the familiar challenge statements of low carbon transition, which include how might we achieve on-site clean energy solutions for our buildings, significantly reduce the energy consumption in existing buildings. Last year, we also had embodied carbon, but we shifted that to our construction decarbonization challenge statement. We also have water conservation and resilience, waste management and circular economy, and new for this year, the construction decarbonization. Because in addition to just low embodied carbon materials, we're looking at how we can minimize our embodied carbon through innovative design strategies and novel construction technologies. So the CapitaLand development construction sites and AEI sites are the primary target of this challenge statement. We look forward to new and interesting technology here. Under Enable, we have health, safety, and wellness in buildings, which encompasses our indoor air improvements of indoor air quality, improvement of indoor comfort, and also our health and safety challenge statement. Under tenants, we have how might we retrofit existing buildings with retail tenants such that energy and carbon is reduced and tenants' employee engagement on sustainability is increased. This is a slight modification from previous years. And our brand new challenge statement is on supply chain. How might we influence and enable our supply chain to improve the measurement and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and quantify the positive impacts from these initiatives? So this one is brand new. We have not had anything like it in the previous editions. So we're looking forward to seeing the very interesting things that come in through this statement. Next slide, please. Timeline, which is probably foremost on people's minds. Well, for the campaign outreach and sourcing, the campaign started 28th of October. So as of 28th October, the Organised platform opened and submissions could be made. It'll close on the 13th of January, 2025. After the closing of submissions, we'll be going through and doing internal shortlisting of submissions. We plan to pare it down to about the top 30. So it's 30, possibly plus a few. If there's more than 30 very interesting, very compelling, or similarly scoring technologies. And those will be reviewed by our CapitaLand Advisory Committee. So that's made up of our C-suite individuals who will be looking at the overall business impacts, strategy impacts of these technologies after our subject matter experts have gone through and examined them from a technical standpoint. For the 10 technologies selected from the advisory committee, they will enter a mentorship program of approximately 6 weeks, probably 4 sessions, but others can be available on request, where they will be paired up with a CapitaLand mentor and an external subject matter expert to help them to polish their value proposition, polish their pitch, and prepare the most compelling plan that they can during our demo day, which will be held in July of 2025. The top 10 will be pitching to the panel of distinguished judges. More information on that would be available in due course, not today. The format would be fairly similar to the previous year. Next slide, please. For a bit of a flavor of what technologies we have shortlisted in the past, here are the 2023 top 10 finalists. And we can see that we have the 4 at the top, the ones with the shading, are the special award winners. We had VACT with their health-focused technology, health and safety-focused technology, helping us to focus on safety in our assets and highlight unsafe behaviors. Then we had the Healthway disinfecting filtration system, which is quite exciting as it promises an improved indoor air quality at lower energy cost. We have the corrugated solar roof, which is the lightweight flexible solar panels. We're currently trialing those in Australia. And then we have Megorium with their Megorium material, which is very exciting as we plan to collect plastic waste from our malls and our tenants and our sandbox partners, and then process it into bitumen that can be used in our CapitaLand developments for site roads and other roads. So we're quite excited about the circularity story. We also have an AI building optimization platform being trialed in China to optimize a chilling plant. Our a low carbon concrete technology, also in China, for our development projects there. Our fire flow switch testing system we're trialing in Singapore, a Singaporean company, which should help us to save water and improve our manpower. Then we also have the solar hybrid air conditioning to improve to basically directly link air conditioning and solar panels to improve energy. And we also have our Mirado heat reflecting film to reduce the energy load within our building. And then finally, a nanocrystal technology to help improve the functioning of our cooling towers in China. So this should give you a bit of a flavor of the ones we were looking for last year with last year's challenge statement. Next slide, please. To fill out the picture, these are technologies that we have been piloting from 2021 and 2022. We have technologies ranging from ceramic netting to install in air handling units, cooling water tower technologies of either electrolysis or other innovative technologies, irrigation technologies to improve the reduce our water use during irrigation. Various types of renewable energy systems to incorporate into our buildings, everything from voltaic louvers to low wind speed wind turbines to go onto our assets, other air quality improvement filtration systems, and various paintings and coatings as well. Also a very nifty window pane installation system to put another pane of windows on existing assets without disturbing our tenants, and an acoustic leak detection system. So we have a wide array of interesting technologies we've been very excited to pilot and to hopefully complete and roll out. Next slide, please. Okay, for our registration process, we'll be turning it over to Anna from Organised, who will take you through this part of the system.
Thank you, Ted. So yeah, we just want to take you through how the participation actually works, how the submission works, to make sure that everything's clear. And if you have any questions, please just jump in at any point. So most of you have probably been to the challenge website already. If not, we're also going to share the link with you again afterwards. We're going to share these slides with you afterwards. So once you get to the website, as you can see at the bottom right, where it says participate, you click there, and as a first step, you need to create an account. Can we move to the next slide? Thank you. And the account creation, it's pretty straightforward. It's, you know, what you know anyway, you know, first name, last name, email address, and all that. And once you have created your account, you'll get an email to your email address to basically confirm. And then in the next step, you can start the actual submission. So it's two steps you need to take. The first step is to create an account. And then in a second step, you will be able to actually look at the participation form and and submit your solution. If we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so that's what that's going to look like. So first step, you create an account, and then second step, you have the different questions, you have the challenge statements that you want to address, and this is where you can put in all the information that are required for you to participate. Are there any questions about that? Is that clear or? Yes. If not, then we can move on. Obviously, if any questions or if you get stuck along the way, feel free to reach out to us anytime and we will help you.
All righty. Thank you so much, Anna. And again, we'll answer the questions in the Q&A portion. So please type them into the Q&A box, and we will move through them. But what I think is probably most people are very interested in is, what are the judging criteria? What are we looking for? So first off, the criteria. There's four main criteria, I guess. We'll be looking at the impact and business value for CapitaLand. Again, we're a real estate investment manager, so we're going to be looking for the impact to the built environment and to our business. We'll be looking for the innovation and creativity of the solution to meet the challenge statements. Basically, how replicable is it? Is this something that's very unique and different, or are there 20 or 30 potential competitors? What is the potential to scale and deploy across our geographies and asset types? So for example, if we find a technology that works great in Singapore, that's excellent. We have a lot of assets in Singapore, we're very happy. If it can deploy in Singapore and China, even happier. If we can deploy to Singapore, China, India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, the US, and the EU, then that is the platinum level. That is everything that we're looking for. So the more scalable it is, the better it will score. The more creative it is, the better it will score. And the more impact it makes for us, the better it will score. One other requirement is that the solution is to be technology readiness level 8 or above, as our management is quite impatient to pilot, to see the results, and then to scale up if there is potential. So we want to be looking at technology readiness level 8 or above. Next slide, please. Next one, for the prizes and details. Who gets prizes? Up to the top 10 selected startups from Demo Day. And then what type of prizes? Well, first, through the whole process, there are a few what we believe are benefits, and we'll hear from some of our previous CSXC winners shortly to validate if this is correct or not. So first off, you'd be mentored by both a subject matter expert and a CapitaLand expert to help prepare your pitch. This actually has been quite valuable in the past. You'll be able to pilot your solution at a CapitaLand asset. So you will have a case study for a large, live, and complex asset. And of course, we will stand behind the results, because the results will be coming from our instrumentation, from our systems, or from a way that we have worked out with you. So we'd be able to stand behind those results. There will be over $1 million grand total of pilot funding. It's broken down a little bit differently from last year. There will be 2 special recognition awards sponsored by Enterprise Singapore, the Emerging Startup and Most Scalable Award. Each of those winners would have funding of 200,000 Singapore dollars. The other 2 special recognition awards, which are the High Impact Award and Most Innovative Award, would each have Singapore $100,000 of funding. And the other 6 finalists, or up to 6 finalists, would be 75,000 Singapore dollars. And again, as alluded to earlier, we'd be working very, very closely with each of these selected startups to sort out the asset location, the scope, the timeline, and all the nitty-gritty technical details of the pilot to give it the greatest possibility of success. As part of the application process, we would need a cost estimate for your proposals for the type of pilot you are envisaging. And again, do that with these dollar values in mind. If your pilot is $5,000, okay, that's great. but you might want to think a little bit bigger. If your pilot is $10 million, that is interesting, but again, take a look at the maximum amounts above, and you might want to consider how to scale that down. Next slide, please. And next, we will actually move straight into our fireside chat with two of our special award winners, Mr. Hugo, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Hugo, Check, who was the co-founder and COO of VACT, who is our High Impact Award winner, and Miss Oh Chusian, and still I managed to screw that one up a bit, I'm sorry, the founder and CEO of Megorium. So welcome, thank you for joining us this afternoon. And actually, this reminds me, there's one point I want to make just before we jump into the fireside chat. As part of the application process for CSXC, CapitaLand does not take any of the intellectual property or have any control over that. So if you wish to work with other folks in the built environment, that's no issue whatsoever. There's no implication on your IP. It's your IP, it's your innovation, it's your blood, sweat, and tears. And we acknowledge that. That should have been a couple of slides earlier, but I hope that puts a few folks at rest as well. Now, back to the fireside chat. Let's go with ladies first. And Chusian, maybe you can give us a brief introduction of yourself, the innovation, and why you joined our CSXC 2023.
Thank you so much. So my name is Chusian and founder of Megorium. And what we do is we recycle contaminated plastic waste into a new road construction material to pave more sustainable roads. So why we joined this program is because we've actually spoken to previous winners of this challenge, and I think they have only amazing things to say in terms of piloting, as well as the traction and credibility that came along with all the different pilots that they were able to do with CapitaLand. And personally, why we joined is because we saw a lot of synergies in terms of recycling the waste coming from the different asset classes, be it malls, buildings. All of these different waste are currently being incinerated, and we can definitely provide the solution to better manage this waste. And at the end of the day, CapitaLand does have a lot of new developments, which we are then able to close the loop to put all these different plastic waste derived products into the road itself, creating this entire circular economy. So long story short, the reason we joined is many reasons, but definitely it's because there are just tons of synergies working with CapitaLand.
Cool. Very glad to hear all of that. Hugo, same question over to you. And for those that wondered if we disappeared or something, we're having a little bit of a technical gremlin on our side who's knocked out our video camera. So until then, just enjoy the disembodied voice and the background. So Hugo, maybe you can give a brief intro for yourself, VACT, and why you joined CSXC 2023.
Thank you. So I'm Hugo, the co-founder and CEO of VACT. So VACT is basically an AI-driven video analytics platform for workplace safety, enhance the operational efficiency, and then the environmental management. So why we joined the program from 2023? Because we understand that the CapitaLand driving sustainability is totally aligned with our company's vision to drive impact to the society. So we understand that there's different premises and different buildings from CapitaLand that the whole group is driving safety and health to making everyone is working in that area become more stable, more sustainable. So that's why we, at the very beginning, we try to apply for this program is to try to understand more about how CapitaLand want to drive this sustainability growth, and also how our solutions can help them together to making the whole group more safe and making the workplace safety in a more sustainable way. Yeah, this is why we joined the program. Yeah.
And maybe I'll stick with you for another moment, Hugo. I've told the participants a little bit about what they can expect. What do you think I've left off of what the participants in CSXC can expect?
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I think for the entire settings of the program, we are really appreciated. From the first day that we joined, with the mentorship, the site visit, the demo day, to the after we getting the award, then going to the implementation, tons of like meetings with the team, the open mind shared with the CapitaLand team to give us so much like a good feedback, and then get us to involve and then change our product offering so that we can making our products is suitable for CapitaLand to use. The whole journey is amazing, and the CapitaLand's team is very helpful, and all the insights give us is so impactful to our solutions. Yeah.
Again, that's great to hear, Hugo. And again, for those in the audience, Hugo's already been selected as an award winner, so it's from the heart. His award does not depend on that in any way, shape, or form. Chusian, do you have anything that you would like to add or emphasize for what our folks can expect during the process?
I think one of the most valuable part of the process was having mentors both from the internal CL team as well as from the Sandbox partner, because this really helped to craft our solution to what the client needs and what is more practical rather than what we think that you need, and then eventually there's a misalignment. So that not only helps in terms of us expediting commercialization, but also when we partner when we commercialize with other partners, we then take all these different learning points, which really super valuable, and then we can then implement it again with others, shortcutting the entire process of learning again. So I think that was something that was super valuable in terms of working with CapitaLand through this entire process of going through the challenge.
That's great to hear. As one thing that we did put a lot of effort into was putting together a pilot method statement or a pilot testing protocol, which took probably more rounds than our finalists anticipated, but we hope was quite a valuable learning process and can be used in other projects. Again, we're quite happy for that to be reused. No point to reinvent the wheel, because we want all of our finalists to succeed. And also, the more they succeed, the lower their unit cost becomes. So there's some very nice enlightened self-interest there as well. Do you have any challenges that you would like to highlight in the pilot, or any interesting resolutions that you've experienced so far? Let me rephrase, apologies. How's your pilot been? And are there any challenges you would like to highlight, or areas of support you were especially grateful for?
Maybe I'll go. So for this, because in our case, we are collecting plastic waste from more than one location. In fact, I think it's multiple locations. And in doing so, we actually had to engage with multiple stakeholders. We're collecting from 3 malls, 2 Sandbox partners, which means that we're talking to 3 different mall operators, different teams within CL, not just Ted and Kelvin. So it made it very, I would say a lot of resources were poured into communication, and it took a bit longer than expected. And eventually, after we secured the plastic waste and the buy-in, we then had to speak to the projects team that was building the road. So it was a lot of communication, which was to be expected. But I think what we truly supported is that any single time when we face the slightest pushback or some problems in terms of implementing, Ted and Calvin would jump in, no issues, no question asked, straight away, and ask, how can we help? And I think it really made me feel valued as a solution provider, rather than, you find your own way. We've already given you financial resources. We've already given you the contact, which is common, I would say, in terms of startups trying to partner with bigger players. They will say, I've provided you all the help that you need. It's on you now. It makes you feel very siloed and alone as a startup trying to help better, operations or trying to bring down cost on both ends. So that was something that we really valued. So thank you so much, Ted and Kelvin.
We're very happy to be of assistance and help, and I'm sure Kelvin's already put that into his performance review as well. Literally, not figuratively. Hugo, how about on your side? Are there any interesting challenges that you have faced or any support you have received that would be unusual in other circumstances that can offer a bit of encouragement or let's go with encouragement to those that are applying?
I think what we facing the challenges is quite similar to Chixian. We have deployed the solutions to 3 different job sites of CapitaLand. So we need to separate to discuss with 3 different teams, project teams, down to the site. And I think CapitaLand did a very good job to help us to do the liaison between our team and also the project team, which is not easy because we need to convey our solutions, the technologies down to the operation languages that the people can understand and accept this kind of like solution deployed to their daily operations, which is not easy. But then I think all this kind of communication is complicated sometimes. But then still the CapitaLand gives so many advice for us to refine our solutions that can matching with each other, all the stakeholders, which is very good.
Cool. Thank you, Hugo. What are the top 3 qualities would you see in a successful CSXC participant? So not necessarily in yourself, you were successful, so you can use that, or if there's any that more expansive than that as well. Don't feel constrained.
Yeah, I think to join the program, I think 3 things that the participant need to be consider is like the first thing is like to be patient, because when we starting the program, we talking to the mentor. The mentor is really the domain experts, so we need to respect what they understand about their operations. But then we need to be patient to discuss with them how our technologies, how our solutions can be helping them in their daily works. And the second one is to be considerate, right? Because we are coming from different sectors. We are coming from technology sectors, but you guys are from the property or the management sector. So we need to be considerate how you are very busy. I mean, everyone joining the program, being the mentor, very busy every day. So we will considerate to matching each other's timeline, discuss fruitfully, and then we can come up some conclusion in each meetings. And the third one, I think, should be more resilient, because sometimes project team or even implementation team will give you some challenges on your solutions. But we need to be, as a startup, we need to understand the core value of the solutions, that we need to be consistent to provide the value to the end users. So that this is 3 part I think the participant need to be considered.
Cool. Thank you. I hope that our folks on the call have marked that well, as it's all great advice. Chusian, same question for you. What are the top 3 qualities that you would personally see in a successful CSXC participant, having been through the process?
I think very similar to Hugo, one of the most important thing is to really listen, to have humility, because you may be very passionate, you may be your own technology subject expert, but at the end of the day, it's the user that really counts. You know, what do they need? What do they want? Be prepared to really change the process of things, or to pivot where required. Because if your solution doesn't work for anyone else but yourself, then it literally has failed. So I would say definitely listen to what the needs are of the client. To be resilient, I think resilient was also very important in that you need to pivot fast, because there's only this much the mentors can help you in terms of giving advice. But for you to actually implement their advice, it requires a lot of hard work and resilience on your end as well. And if you don't end up doing it, then it will just be advice that has gone wasted. So be prepared to really make changes, put in the hard work. And I think at the end of the day, one of the most important thing we learn is to hit the ground running together with the team, because I think when we won, I think yourself and Calvin came up to you, came up to me and said, you know, we will be speaking with you soon. we'll be piloting, we'll be hounding you for it. And I think we thought it was a joke, but it really wasn't. We needed to be prepared to hit the ground running with the team. You guys immediately linked us up with the different contacts that we needed. We needed to have the plan ready, the resources and all of this, rather than to wait for us to win and then take the next 3 to 5 months to then begin planning resources. So I think that was a very big learning point, which was very beneficial for us as well. And I think for any startup, speed is always better. So to be able to hit the ground running was very, very important. Yeah.
I think those are all excellent points for our for our new crop of aspiring winners. And again, our management is impatient. They want to move fast, fast, fast. On the flip side of the coin, we also want to do everything we can to ensure that the pilot will be successful and gather good data. So we do take a fair amount of time to make sure things are properly set up so that it's the old saying, what is it? And never mind, I won't go with that old saying. It suddenly left my mind. Maybe later it'll pop back in. But we do want to prepare. So we want to do the proper amount of preparation and planning to make the implementation go as fast and smoothly as possible. So for those on the call, be prepared to move quickly, but also be prepared to do proper planning so that we can get excellent performance. And then one final question before I flip over to Hugo. What advice would you give to any of the upcoming CSXC participants if you had to go through it again with what you know now?
I think because being a startup, you have your solutions. Maybe you're selling like millions of dollars, but to joining this program, you to be really realistic to making like not pricing down, but making a more proper offering to the team, to the CapitaLand team. And the other thing is like need to really deep dive to the operation of each teams that you are discussing, because you need to really understand how they operate in daily works. Otherwise, you just like hard push your solutions is not making sense. And this is what I advise the people that taking more consider the comments and advice from both sides, from all the people involving in your journey. Yeah.
I like that, because we will be giving a lot of comments through the mentorship, and all of them come from we want the innovator to succeed mindset. They're not just to jump through hoops needlessly, or to polish something that doesn't need to be polished, or to undercut the innovator. All of them are meant with success as ultimately in mind. And I think we'll close with Chusian. What are your thoughts on what advice you would give to the CSXC participants?
I think the biggest advice that I have is that even though this is a pilot challenge, do not use this as your first pilot, because it will be very painful if this is your first pilot. And the reason for this is because CapitaLand is big. So when they talk about pilots, their pilots are big. And the learning can be quite painful if this is your first pilot. But let's say we were to start small, start scaling, learn from all these different smaller points, and then kind of perfect it with a bigger pilot, whereby you can learn even more from there to really commercialize and roll out. I think that would be really, really helpful in this case. Yeah.
Cool, and that's actually a great reason why we try to pick technology readiness level 8 or above. Folks that have done some small pilots already, so they've gotten some of the initial learning curve sorted, and they're ready to jump in with a significantly more complex pilot. And again, we're jumping right in with you to help as much as possible and help you. And we are a big company, but we help these startups navigate the CapitaLand ecosystem, and we don't just throw them out there on their own, or write a check and say, okay, the photo opportunity, and now we're done. Go forth and be productive. We'll see you next year. We try to be a little bit more helpful than that. And with that, I think I just want to give another thanks to Hugo and Chusian and a congratulations for winning special awards in our CSXC 2023. Thank you again for appearing today to hopefully inspire the other folks that are online who hope to be joining you in the winner's circle as the CSXC 4th edition. Thank you both.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Ted.
much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Ted, Hugo, and Chuxian for taking us through the fireside chat and for sharing your insights on the challenge. So now we will just spend the last 10 minutes to take some questions from the Q&A box. I would like to thank everyone for your enthusiastic response. And I think we can address all the questions that we have. So without further ado, the first question, Ted, it's for demo day, is it expected to be on site in Singapore?
All righty. So for the very first demo day, the very first final we had was during COVID, so everybody was remote. The second was during the end of COVID, so we had a hybrid session. Last year, everyone was on site in Singapore for the demo day and for the Q&A period. So ideally, we would like to have all of the winners on site in Singapore. But if there are extenuating circumstances, we'd look at it case by case. So I'd say the first thing would be focus on getting into the top 10, and then we can discuss from there if there is an issue, because we do try to be fair and balanced.
Great, thank you. I think this next question, you might have covered it during your slides. So how many of those 10 who eventually made it to the pilot phase? What's the approximate quantum and amount given to each?
Well, let's see. Let's see. Do you know if they're talking for 2020? Okay, sorry. Resetting.
Peter,
so for 2023, all 10 at the demo day were selected for piloting. So they're either, some have completed, some are in progress, some may still be doing some planning or fine-tuning. The answer is slightly complicated because for some of our technologies, we're testing them in more than one location or more than one country. So they may have completed in Singapore, but they're still waiting in the Philippines, for example. Last year, the award amounts were up to 150,000 for the special award winners, and 75,000 for the other finalists. I hope that addresses the question.
Yes, it did. Thank you. So for the next question, it's a two-part question. If my product/technology is similar to the previous winners, should I still apply? And the second part is are there any restrictions to the innovations proposed?
For the first one, it's very easy. Yes, you should apply. If you had the chance to notice, I know the slides went by a little quickly. For the winners of the previous 3 editions, there were a few that were similar technologies: cooling water tower treatment, air filtration, lightweight solar panels. We're quite comfortable to trial and assess similar technologies because we are a very large company. We have assets all over the world. We might, for example, have someone that can work superbly in China, but have more difficulty outside. And we might have some that can work superbly in Singapore, but may have trouble working in North America. That's perfectly fine. So I would encourage them to apply. For the second part, that is a little bit of a open-ended statement. So I think I would probably say that we are looking for technologies that will impact our sustainability master plan targets. So if it is, for example, coastal reforesting of coastal mangroves, that is a wonderful project, but not one that applies to the built environment that we have control over. So we're very firmly looking for built environment technologies.
Great, thank you. So for a related question, I noticed that all the finalists from last year's challenge was proposing technology applications. What about green or sustainability-driven design for architecture, for example, green data centers?
Well, that is a very timely question, as in the previous editions, we were focusing very heavily on technology to various degrees. But with our new construction decarbonization challenge statement, they would be considering this type of system, this type of approach. So I would encourage them to apply for that challenge statement.
Okay, great. Next one is this question is about industry mentors. So what is the process of selecting industry mentors to work with the shortlisted companies throughout the challenge?
Alrighty. So those are selected, I guess, as far as the innovators would be concerned on the back end. Ourselves, we have a pool of CapitaLand mentors from our business units, generally the ones that would be in charge of applying the technology or operating those assets. So for example, if it's a technology we wanted trialed in India, we'd pair it up with one of the folks from the India business unit who'd be very familiar with that region. In Singapore, if it's Singapore retail, we'd be pairing it up with one of our retail and workspace engineering staff, people that know the asset, know the country, and can provide very targeted advice about the business unit that the innovator would be working with. Then we also have a pool from our platinum partners who are industry subject matter experts, agency subject matter experts, or venture capital subject matter experts. And then we would make a judgment as far as which of them have overlapping interests and skill sets with the innovator's technology and pair them up that way. I hope that addresses the question.
Great, thank you. Okay, this next question is a bit specific. If my product is a scalable circular economy design and implementation strategy for waste management involving businesses and communities, would that qualify for the challenge?
Interesting question. I believe that it would qualify, but note that it has to be relevant to CapitaLand's asset types and business model. So if, for example, it was to set up a centralized or decentralized waste collection system to serve a city, unless our assets are involved, then it would not qualify. Again, we're focused very heavily on the built environment and the CapitaLand Sustainability Master Plan targets. However, we are, of course, very interested in waste and circularity technologies. An excellent case in point is Megorium's technology.
Fantastic. Okay, so next question. We are a local Singapore distributor of a product from Hong Kong. Can we join the challenge, or must the application be made by the Hong Kong manufacturer?
Distributors are welcome to join the challenge, and we have had several finalists over the years that are distributors representing the manufacturer. So please apply, no problem.
Great. So this question is about data collection. Will we have access to the data collected during the pilots to assess the performance and impact of our solutions?
Of course, because at the end of the pilot, there will have to be a final pilot report, which will be assessing the performance, and that will be gone through with our various technical experts as well. And ideally, there should be interim reports, checking of data at certain milestones to see if the pilot's on track, if any mitigations or corrections need to be applied, if even something as simple as if an instrument isn't working properly, it's best to find out early than wait until the very end of the pilot. So yes, most certainly.
Great, thank you. So our next question is also related to whether or not this company can apply for the challenge. Can an applicant be a partnership or a consortium between companies to put forward a technology or solution?
That should be okay, but I would also emphasize with part of that answer that the CSXC is focused for startups and small medium enterprises, as the very large companies, the MNCs, have plenty of other routes to approach CapitaLand, and there's other innovation engines dedicated for that. So in theory, it should be okay, but we'll take a look at the application when it comes in.
Okay, so last two questions. The first one is a two-part question. First part, is this challenge only open to companies registered in Singapore, or is it open for companies located in ASEAN, Asia, Australia, etc.?
In short, the challenge is open to companies located anywhere in the world. It is not restricted to countries registered in Singapore. However, the two Enterprise Singapore special awards would be restricted to either companies that are registered in Singapore or companies that will register in Singapore within 12 months of the date of award. That's the only real restriction. In our previous award winners, we've had companies from the United States, from China, from Singapore, from suddenly blanking some of the other countries. We've had them from all over the world. India as well, yes, India. How could I be forgetting India? We've had technology from Japan. We have had technologies from Austria, and we also have technology and winners from Hong Kong as well, and South Africa. That's the one I was forgetting about, South Africa. So anybody, anywhere is more than welcome to apply.
Okay, so the next part of the same question is, does the company have to be a new startup, brand new, or is it open to companies that are, say, 3 to 5, 10 years old?
It is more than open to companies that are 3 to 5 years old. It's also open to companies that are more than 10 years old. In Singapore, we have a term called small medium enterprises, which are smaller companies. They're not necessarily startups, but they are less than 50, 60 staff or something like less than 50 or 60 staff, something like that. So I think this one would qualify as that quite easily. The only additional caveat would be for the Enterprise Singapore Awards, those two, the company should be registered for less than 10 years. But first apply and then worry about the awards later.
Okay, no problem. Got it. Okay, last question. This is it's a nice way to wrap everything up. Could you share what specific criteria were considered when selecting the finalist projects and what made those projects stand out? Also, are there any key insights from last year's applicants that could help improve our chances this time?
A very detailed and a very pointed question, but also an excellent one to end on, as you mentioned. So again, the three major points of emphasis are the impact and business value to CapitaLand. So impact, if it's something that'll save 10% energy in a building, that's great. Or that's better than something that would save 1% energy in a building. Then there is innovation and creativity. So if it is something that we have not seen that technology before, that is going to score better than if we have, say, 20 similar technologies. Again, even if it's 20 similar technologies, it might still score well in other areas, that's fine. Lastly, it would be potential to scale. Again, something that works well in a Singapore retail asset is good. If it works in a Singapore, China, Malaysia retail asset, even better. If it works in retail, commercial, student housing, data center, hotel, absolutely superb. So the more that it can be applied geographically and asset-wise, the better. And again, I just want to emphasize again the technology readiness level 8 or above. Both Hugo and Xixian talked a bit about the process and that it is painful to pilot. I won't make any secret of that. It's very worthwhile, but it is painful. And so the first couple small pilots should already be out of the way. And then on the judging side, clarity of submission is really important. If you can clearly and simply express your ideas, do it. You will not be getting additional points for very flowery, elaborate language. You don't need to use ChatGPT to come out with a very long essay which would not deeply impress an English tutor. No, we've looked through 1,300 entries. We want clear. We'll work on the flowery during the mentoring. Give us clear. Also, don't over-exaggerate your claims as well. We've seen 1,300 entries. If somebody comes in and says that we can save you 99% of the energy of your building, we have engineers looking through this. We know that's not possible. So we prefer and will score better applications which are realistic, which are straightforward, which are clear. Worry about all the chrome later.
Great. Thank you very much, Ted, for taking our questions. I think we definitely benefited from the clarity provided in addressing all the queries that came to us. One more thing for you? Yeah.
I see one more query that just came in, and I think it's worth addressing. I see how many startups for one award or one for each. So the answer is there are 4 special recognition awards, and there'll be 1 startup winning each special recognition award. So 4 awards, 4 startups, tick, tick. The other 6 would all be a finalist, And if they are approved by the judges during demo day, they would be getting the $75,000 of funding. So 1 at 200, no, 2 at 200, 2 at 100, 6 at 75K. Hopefully that clarifies.
Great. Thank you very much. So if you have any further questions on the challenge, please feel free to reach out to SGBC and we'll put you in touch with the CSXC team. Once again, thanks Ted for taking our questions. You may turn off your webcam and we'll catch you in another session.
Great. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's info session. We hope that you managed to clear doubts and get more information on the 4th edition of the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge. So for more details, you can scan the QR code on screen or click on the link in the chat box that will bring you to the main website for the challenge. We look forward to receiving your applications for the challenge and hearing about your innovation that can help to make the urban environment more climate resilient and resource efficient. And with that, I wish everyone a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you very much.